had great leadership with groups that have participated and had great success. I think I read recently that maybe your ensembles are the most medaled ensembles in our activity, which when I first heard that, I was like, well, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I think of the excellence you've had at virtually every class that you've participated in. That to me has made a lot about the acknowledgement for you real. It's that you've accomplished so much at virtually every level. You might be the best or the truest expert of what all of our classes are. What's that like from a preparation standpoint of the different classes that you work in? And kind of tell us a little bit about the challenges and rewards about all of them being so unique and different.
Well, I guess I'll start with thank you, by the way. Start with A class. I think just keeping it simple, and really basing their success upon achievement of what they're given, and not necessarily worrying about vocabulary. Give them what they can handle, and it's education based on this is what it's like to do something to perfection. Not necessarily achieving perfection, but that's the
goal.
The philosophical approach is that whatever we do, we're going to do it right. With open class, I've actually never, I can't remember any time that I've had success in open class, which is kind of funny. That's the class I can't figure out. World class with Mission, I've had several other groups in world class as well. It's more about designing with the vocabulary is kind of set as the standard, and you get the kids to reach that standard where here's what the show is, and you guys got to figure it out. Here's how we're going to do it, and we train and try to get them to that level. It's almost backwards with A class. A class, it's you look at the kids and you design for what they are. At least that's the way I do it. So I tell each incoming class at the world class level that here's the standard and you have to reach it. The true success of at least long-term success of any world-class program is making sure you have a theater. Those kids come in at the highest level possible, so that you're not reaching down into the depths of remedial percussion as freshmen, and the world-class level won't be attainable at that point, at least not long-term, and you'll be more dependent on flash-in-the-pan success.
Yep.
That's the challenge there. It's definitely more administrative and logistical in nature.
Tell me about the fascinating conversation of the classifications and how those have changed and evolved year after year, and what that's like to prepare our students for, but also prepare shows for, particularly maybe Scholastic A, what that has done in 15 years in terms of what we've termed as basic skills and where that's come. How has that been challenging for you as a teacher and as a designer?
Well, I can say A class has definitely changed. I think some people might look at it and say, well, it's more advanced now than it was, but I recently orchestrated an A class book that I had written years ago, and I looked at some of the stuff in there. I couldn't believe we were playing that in A class. So from my perspective, I think A class is now more where it should be, and that there's a higher level of achievement now as far as the vocabulary that the kids have been given. I guess one could make an argument sometimes it's the cleanest class. You go in there, you see the fewest amount of mistakes, and it's not as challenging of material, but that's my perception of it anyway, and that it's grown, it's matured in the sense that this is what we want out of this class. We're experiencing and learning these skills, and we're going to attempt to do what we do to perfection, even though the depth might not be there in the program. The chasm, if you will, between and Open and then Open and World has grown immensely. My perspective.
Yep.
And World Class is just out of control. I mean, we've had some greats in the past, but if you just look at the bulk of the class now, and I think there's 22 groups this year, and I'm looking at the names, and I've seen some of the fan network videos, and I've seen a lot of them live in SoCal, and it's just amazing. It's amazing the level of achievement just across the board from these programs. That has been an amazing growth to watch.
Mike, I think a lot about why a person's chosen for a Hall of Fame position is not just about their personal success or the group success. It's about making a big difference in the activity that they participate in. And you certainly are one of those persons. You've participated in so many ways to advance our activity by participating in a percussion advisory board, steering committees. You've been a board of directors member, and also have had a huge commitment in your own community in Southern California with the Southern California Percussion Alliance. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of commitment, and so you're to be acknowledged, first of all, for what you've done to really help advance our activity. That being said, tell me what you've gotten out of that, what that's been for you, how that's helped fuel you, helped kept your passion for our activity going, because I do think there is something about giving you get while you give. What's that like for you?
Well, I'll start with the local level, because I think that's been the most relevant contribution to my life as far as giving in that respect and putting in the hours and volunteering time to develop the region, along with my cohorts as well. But it has been truly amazing to see the growth in our region, and I never thought it would get where it is today. On the practical side, it's created so many teaching jobs, because keeping up with the Joneses mentality it's crazy out there, and everybody needs a staff. Everybody needs someone to design their show, and the kids are just hyped on it. And there's so many opportunities for work. Kids, I see that these college kids now, instead of working at McDonald's, they're nothing against McDonald's, but they're able to do something that makes them happy, their passion, and teach percussion on the side while they go to school and make enough money to pay bills, pay for gas, things like that. And it really is kind of a weird connection how everything just kind of webs out from that. And for me, I guess on a practical side, it's almost like job security, where I don't get paid to be on the board and to do all these things, but it creates this market, and these kids are learning, and they're more beyond learning. They're learning percussion. They're developing life skills and creating friendships and experiencing what it's like to be part of a team, a successful team. And I think those lessons are valuable regardless of where you end up in your career. And that's the biggest thing, I think. And then you can kind of zoom out to the WGI level, and it's just on a bigger scale, where you're allowing for the younger instructor that may be a college student to work without having to do something that's not their hobby or not their passion. It's practical for them because they can pay their gas bill or their rent. And it sounds a little weird to be talking about such specific things, but that's the thing that kind of makes me smile, is that, look at this is incredible.